Okay, how do we start this?
With the usual good day everyone, Dr. Blob here.
I guess. Good day, everyone. Dr. Blob here.
Me as well, this time around.
Very much welcome. For those
Thanks
who
for
don't
having
know,
me.
yeah, thank you for passing by. For those who don't know, this is Andrew. Andrew Skynaptis. I have always problems saying your last name. I apologize.
I know. It's okay. Okay, I'll say it. Okay, guys, I'm Andrew Lekhnovskyi.
Lekhnovskyi.
I'm
Okay.
Lekhnovskyi. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's important.
It's a trouble to pronounce those, I know.
It's okay. It's okay. The more you know.
Well, I'm just a guy who writes music, you know.
Yeah. Just some guy. No, but go on, introduce yourself further.
So I've been doing music for the last 15 years or so. I've been playing different instruments. Well, my primary one is the drum set. Secondary is the guitar. But well, I am still able to focus on different other instruments. Thankfully, modern technologies allow me to do that, like creating arrangements and orchestrations. And these days, I regard myself as a composer, arranger, like mixing, mastering engineer, like something like that. I still have ways to go though, but yeah, I'm more of a composer first and musician second.
It's nice. So the part that was more interesting to, how to say it, invited you to this little event is because, well, let's accept it. Arknights has very good music. It's the ongoing meme that Arknights is a music company which happens to have a game to promote it.
Well, the same meme goes for, Doom 2016. Like, people say that Mick Gordon's music album is just, a music album, and the Doom game is just a bonus for it. So.
Quite a nice bonus, not gonna lie.
Yeah.
And I've been wanting to make this video for a while. And it's not like I'm not gonna call it, I'm the first to make it ever. No. I'm gonna let that to another more arrogant companies. The mouse. But no, this is not the first one in its kind, but I think this one is the first kind on its idea. We're gonna be ranking the songs, but specifically character songs.
Yeah, I love those.
Yeah. And even when we are just looking at a specific kind of music, we can see that they are not exactly few. As of time of recording, there are listed 69 character songs, obligatory nice, and with already a couple more coming from CN. So yeah, this is not gonna stop in a while.
Definitely.
Now, what I am thinking about making this so special about this list? Well, we're gonna be focusing not only how well the song sounds, but also how well it fits the character. Just as in my character voice analysis, this is how much we can feel of the character in the song. I don't know if I make myself clear.
Very clear. It's very important And these character themes are supposed to do exactly that, to present the character in the fullest of the essence, as much as possible.
Yeah, because, well, but that's also a reason I wanted you to. That sounded a bit authoritative, so apologies. I hope for you to help me with this video. Because, yeah, I love music, and I'm a psychologist. But I don't write music, so there are some terminologies or concepts I completely misunderstand. Here's where Andrew comes in. Because, for starters, what's a leitmotif?
Well, leitmotiv is actually a literature terminology, from what I remember. It's quite unusual for people to use it for music.
Okay.
Yeah, but yeah, like it's essentially a theme, you know? So it's just a more, you know, like exquisite word for a theme, I guess, this time around. And considering Arknights is a lot about, you know, synesthetic feel in everything they do, I think that a word leitmotiv is very fitting for, you know, for their character themes especially. Well, they have the whole like musical concert events called ambient synesthesia after all. So.
Well, but those are more specific. Well, you just mentioned the events. The songs themselves are the event, not so much a window to each of the characters.
Yeah, but still, that's like a testament to hyperglyph being hyperglyph, like taking a synesthetic approach to their character themes.
Fair point.
Yeah.
Okay. So with the introduction out of the way,
okay, starting with Ethan.
Yep. Something not everybody knows, but this is the very first leitmotif on Arknights.
Yep.
Everybody, yeah. Everybody thinks that Blaze was the first one, but no, it was Ethan's. As a matter of fact, if you look in Hyperglyph and Arknights' YouTube page, you won't find Ethan's song.
Yeah, and additionally, it's the only theme for a 4-star character. Yeah, of course, there are some group themes, like, you know, for, you know, Angelina and Croissant. Yeah, Croissant. Yeah, but I don't know, it's difficult with those group themes. We have like that the blow of spring or vernal aspect. I don't even know what's the correct title of that song.
It's more like a feeling rather than a character song.
Yeah.
This is also why those won't be taken into account. As much as I like the songs of the Pinus Silvestris girls, I'm afraid they don't count.
Yeah, with Pinus Silvestris it gets even more difficult, but let's get back to Ethan.
Yep.
Shall we? So,
suspected of his design, it's a bit quite obvious on the techno.
Yep, it's a tech trance instrumental song. And you know what's funny is that you know, Ethan's animation, base animation, especially in his skin, maybe that's like only with his skin, depict him behind the, you know, two turntables. Very fitting, especially considering this theme written for him.
Yeah,
so he's like, you know, a DJ.
Or at the very least knows how to turn tables. But
yep,
it does fit because it has this energy, this laid back energy that sometimes just gets up, but then it goes down, like something that can be in the background. And well, if you know it, and you know that's very fitting for the character. However, at the same time, I cannot feel the whole character there. Like, it fits well, but I think it's not something that you will say it's completely his personality.
Well, after all, it's their first theme. They were trying to touch the bottom, like where to stand.
Where to start from,
themes.
right?
Yeah, where to start from, yeah. So it's no wonder it's not like refined as the later themes.
But it's more of a beginning of how this started. That's redundant. Apologies. But yeah, it's how they start with this whole trend. So personally, I think it could go in A. It does tells the character, but I think there was some room to grow. What do you think?
I concur. It's a good pen test, you know. Have a term like for something like the beginnings, a starting point.
Oh, by the way, if you ever think that some song is or more of your liking and not so much of your liking, feel free to say it so we can reach a middle ground. You don't have to just agree with everything I say.
Yeah. Well, okay. It's okay. Well, if like the tier list, I would rather put it into B or C, but you know, you build this tier list.
Okay, that's okay. That's why I asked for your opinion. I understand B, like I said, is like a middle ground at the beginning, but why C?
B or C? That's a tough one. Well, C because like it was first, it's unrefined, it's good, it fits the character, still has a lot of ground like to fill in, like you said previously. So okay, well, I guess the general consensus would be B.
Yeah, I think B is a good place to start. Like I mentioned it,
yeah.
It's the beginning of this, and well, a good middle ground. So, it and sound 10 at 8 goes in B. Very interesting name, by the way.
Yeah, I still can't understand what the numbers refer to. Like, it's a mathematical, like algebra, like term or something. I don't know.
Yeah, no. And like I ever said, I studied psychology specifically, so I don't have to touch mathematics. So, moving on.
Oh, hello, new bot.
Yep. Oh shit. Just left.
Gotta.
Wait. There we go. This is the new bot.
Yay! Welcome.
Say hello to new bot. And this is the very famous Boiling Blood, Laaz's character song.
Gotta love that one.
Yeah. I mean,
yeah.
I gotta be honest. I gotta be a bit biased towards music that has this rock kind of feel. Anything you can bob your head to, I gotta be very biased towards. So apologies in advance.
Same here. Additionally, it's a trend that Arknights started with this song, like experimenting a lot with the genres, styles, and how it could depict a character in a perfect way.
Yeah,
and
it's funny that it's the second one. They didn't have to experiment that much.
Yeah, but still, you know, like having a rock feel, but like being electronic through and through. And well, it's, you know, still amazes me that electronic but a rock feeling. Like it reminds me of, you know, like Seldwell, Blue Stally, those guys. Not to mention Christina V handled her role perfectly here. Well, not to mention this is the only song sang by like the voice actor of the actual
Of the same character, yeah.
Yeah, this.
So we can literally say that Laaz is singing her own character song.
Yeah, well, considering the lyrics are like from Laaz's perspective, sang by her voice actress, it's perfect match made in heaven, like they say.
You cannot get more depiction of a character than this.
Yep.
She's literally singing what she's all about.
The defining characteristics of electronic music, usually, well, not always, but a lot of times, so-called saw synths, like chainsaw, hacksaw, saw. They usually like call it like that, those aggressive synthesizer sounds. Well, they can make it more aggressive, make it less aggressive, but the name is still there. Saw. Considering we have a chainsaw wielding character.
Yeah, pretty fitting. And just as you mentioned it also has this ability to make it more aggressive or less aggressive. When it starts, you can hear that it's very aggressive, as in 0 to 100 from the get-go. But then it starts to go down, it starts to mellow down, which is pretty much in line with Laaz. To her enemies, she's a monster, but to her allies, she's one of the kindest individuals you will find.
Exactly.
Which fits very well with her personality. She's blazing, she's this violent person that knows when to be aggressive, but at the same time knows when to tone it down. She's not fighting for fight, she's fighting to protect something. That's very well delivered in her character song.
I agree. Also, we have like a whole like sensory overload piece with effects going on here and there. Also fitting the character because like she's like very alive. Like she's a burning, living flame. That's kind of vibe I get from the character and from this song.
She's the burning kitty. And personally, yep. I see it as, well, I see it as an S. I don't see it any problem with it because it fits the personality of the character. You can literally hear her sing about who she is and what she's about, so you can't get any more direct than that.
Yep. Well, as you mentioned also, like the start of the song, which is like recurring, like guitar riff, but a synth riff here.
Yeah.
Very aggressive, but whenever Christina V starts singing, it turns into a more melodic arrangement. Gotta like that as well.
Yeah. Plus the very first Global song goes as the very first S song.
Well, no, there's zero doubts here that it's an S song.
Yep. Congratulations to Christina V. Okay.
Gummy song when IG.
That's gonna be a bit more violent, I guess.
Let us hear Christina V singing in Russian accent.
This is Solitary Journey, Kobi song.
While I like this song for its ambience, I don't think it fits Kobi at all. It rather fits her journey rather than her character.
Exactly, that's what I was gonna say. It's more of a... not even a look, more like a sneak peek to who she was. How her past is just a mystery. We have no idea what happened to her before. Just that she's been in this journey for who knows how long. Lot of mystery, lot of what's the word? When you lost something and you miss it. Sorrow. No, not sorrow. Well, also a bit of sorrow, but not, that wasn't the word I was looking for. But yeah, that aside, while it's a good depiction of her journey, I don't think it's a great depiction of her as a character.
Yeah, well, it's the journey, how no matter how difficult it was, how sorrowful, how hard, it didn't change her as a character. She is still the same, goofball, best doggo we all know, right?
Peace hungry doggo, yes.
Yeah, but there is no doubt that her journey across Terra was a very difficult one. And this song depicts it perfectly. Considering she attacked Rhodes Island when they found her, she was like very defensive and she went feral on them.
That's a word.
It's no surprise the journey was, hell of a ride for her. And yeah, it made her a bit, wild, feral for the time she wandered across Terra, and finding someone to lean on finally revealed her true character.
Personally, I find it interesting that this song didn't appear in the very first integrated strategy. It would have fit so well with the whole theme of Kobi's past memories.
Especially with that bad ending.
Yeah. I mean, I don't mind the songs that we got from the first IS, but this one would have fit so well. Instead, it's just like, well, let's try this out, see what people think. It's a good song, like all Arknights songs, but I would say it doesn't fit her entirely. Personally, I think that's at C.
I agree, but it's currently in B.
Yeah, it's for showing purposes, like I'm gonna be placing them in B and then they're gonna leave it in their actual place.
Well, adding something, they actually have a GP exclusive song for her. Unfortunately, it isn't listed as an operator leitmotif.
No, it's more like a funny song, like Myrtle's March. It's not so much a character song, but more like a happy song that just happens to fit very well with the character.
I guess, but it fits perfectly with her. I would just list it as an operator theme for her instead, actually. So,
okay,
kind of strange choices, but okay, whatever.
You know what? Let us say that it was an honorably A or S.
A or S, yeah. Well, I would put into A. I don't know, because of its goofiness, But on the other hand, how like in another way, how would you describe Kobi differently, other than that?
Yeah,
so.
She's goofy, she's lovely, she's her very own crazy doggo.
Yep.
A very own potato farmer.
Okay,
this one's
the
called
Hometown
Winds Bagpipe song.
Bagpipe song. So yeah, we are growing potatoes in the greenhouse. Yeah. With this one, it's gotta love Arknights' instrumental songs.
Yeah,
like, managing to depict a character without words and lyrics in such a way, it's quite an ordeal, and they delivered. They made it perfectly.
Yeah, I think that's the first time I felt like, yeah, this fits perfectly. This tells me everything I need to know about this character. Easygoing, gentle, you can feel this, like hometown vibe. Like it's not this big piece, but rather something you could hear in a tavern. or someone just humming in the way.
Well, not to mention you using actual like Scottish instruments, bagpipes.
Yeah. Bagpipe for bagpipe.
Bagpipe for bagpipe, Scottish for Scottish. You know, yeah.
Scotland forever.
Freedom. Yeah.
But yeah, this song
So.
tells us everything we have to know about her.
Yep. Goes without saying.
Regarding anything like composition-wise, something you could tell us about?
Well, major scale for predominant major scale for happy atmosphere. The feeling, the joy of life. The homey feeling with the dynamics of the composition, like it gets a bit louder somewhere, it gets a bit quieter there.
More
wind.
of a happy feeling, like slice of life. The song.
Slice of potato.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I think that this is an S, right?
This is an S, absolutely.
Yeah.
Gorgeous composition, happy vibes, Scotland forever, bagpipes, potatoes.
Potatoes for
hometowns,
everyone.
villages. Potatoes for everyone, yeah. Like, I personally like those, homey songs. Like,
Oh, really?
Countryside songs, because they associate with the place I was born in as well.
Oh, it's nice to see. So yeah, it's goes very close to home then.
Yeah.
This is Lily of the Valley, Suzun song.
Actually, one of my favorites.
Okay, didn't expect that.
There's a lot going on in this song, despite its being quite minimalistic. But it's just a first impression. Well, I kinda don't quite get the, electronic industrial samples in the background for Suzun. At least I didn't get them initially, but it's the style of this particular composer. What's the name? David Westbourne, yeah. He also did, well, I guess we will come there and eventually. He also did, what's her name, Reedy's song. There were also going on like a lot of industrial like samples in the background, but it was fitting for Reedy, not so much for Suzun. So it's just a stylistic gimmick, so to say.
Yeah, personally, I was also confused as to why so much techno in such a character that has all of this mysticism surrounding her design. Mysticism as in magic and fantasy, not so much mystery. Because, well,
exactly.
She's the only nine-tailed fox in the whole game, so that alone should tell you she's special in some regards. But
yeah, like
the more I
listen,
the more I listen to it, the more I notice this is not so much trying to tell us who she is, but it's trying to tell us how her journey went during the Full Month event. How she at first is like wondering, this wonder, this confusion, and then things jump into this more tense end section when, fittingly, the tensions are getting higher. So this is not so much Suzun as a character, this is Suzun in the moment, how she was feeling throughout the whole ordeal.
It's an interesting take, considering there are hints for like Suzun's altar being a thing, and probably like a more a Japanese themed thing about her, but like being a nine-tailed fox. Well, I was surprised because like that there were no like Japanese theme. Like, come on, she's half Higashian. She's a daughter of like Miko, like a priest.
It's a QB. What?
She's a QB.
How much closer do you want it to be?
Still, there is a lot about this song, and like Suzerain being in the moment is an interesting take. My take is that while being, all about, magic and mysticism, she also belongs to the present. And she's young, and she has ways to go, even despite her apathy. And there's a lot, a bright future ahead of her. Being our light and all. Yeah. Also, what I noticed, a very peculiar thing about this song is it's actually being a 3-part epic. Like we have essentially 3 parts in it, where like tempo and the main theme, the main melodies, the main tonalities change, returning back to the initial one in the end. But still, it's like 3 parts. What 6-star operators have in common, unlike 5 stars and other? Like a quick question to you.
What they have in common?
Yeah, 6 stars, unlike 5 stars and 4 stars and other.
Like that they have this feeling of uniqueness to each one of them. They don't look to belong to a specific group.
No, it was a gameplay-wise question.
Gameplay-wise, they broken.
Okay, let me answer this one. They have 3 skills.
Okay.
We have three parts in the song.
Me dumb.
And I think that the names of Suzerain skills were presented to David Westbourne as, kind of a reference. So perhaps it's just, a hunch. Maybe I just, make it up. But perhaps he has taken the titles of those skills, the names, and like turned them into like a song in a song,
Insert meme of mind being blown. Okay, I get it now. That's why I felt it was like her journey through the Bulemund event, because it was also these three story arcs structure. But seen from your angle, it could also make sense. The first one, the rather unique one, the second one, which is more of a sustained thing, and the last one, which is more of an explosion of power, which is also where it gets more emotional, the whole tone.
After all, her skill names are in the order: first, I'll do my best; second, childhood frolic, those a bit gentle feelings, a bit lighter childhood and all, and Foxfire Haze, explosion, slowing down everyone and making them fragile, and illuminating everything around.
Yeah, it fits very well. I haven't think about that. Seeing it through that light, I think it does fit her quite well. But at the same time, I return to my original statement that I don't feel much of her as a character. It does fit her. At that, I'm gonna be honest. At first, I think it was a B, a C, but now that I have that information, I would say it's either a B or an A.
A for me. Well, you decide.
Yeah, I think it's a good song, and considering this information you just shared with me, I think it does deserve the A spot. It does give us a lot of information regarding who Suzerain is, not like previous more songs of higher tiers, but enough to give us a hint of who she is as a character. So, our light becomes our very first tier A song. And here we have Curtain Kyle.
Yeah.
Phantom's character song.
It's spooky.
Yeah, it makes sense once you take into consideration his past.
At first, I thought, yeah, it made perfect sense. Like, the visual aesthetics well, we are not talking like about visuals. We are talking about music primarily, right?
Yep.
But then again, I have to, especially here, I have to mention that visual aesthetics complement, you know, the song and the character, even more than the song on itself, on its own.
Yeah, I would say that
Yeah.
thematically, it's very fitting. There's
Yeah.
this elegance to it all, but also this creepiness, like a decrepit mansion. That you know something terrible happened here, but you have no idea what.
Yeah. But also, I think that this song is still lacking something.
Yeah, that was
And-
I was gonna mention that it's a good song. It fits the character. But
And I know what, it's lacking.
Okay,
It's
okay.
it's lacking vocals. Despite I'm not really being a fan of, you know, forcing vocals on every song, but here he, well, from what I remember, he was not just a member of, you know, theater troupe, right? He was also like a singer until he was, you know, until he contracted oropathy and his voice became dangerous. So he had to, like, you know,
Stop singing.
restrain himself.
Yeah,
Not to mention he is voiced by like in Ian, at least by an actual opera singer, Bankura.
Yeah. That helps a lot, I'm not gonna lie. But yeah, it tells out a bit of the mystery of the character. I think it's the same thing as with Kobi and Ethan. It tells us a part of the character's history, their background, but not so much about the character itself.
Yeah.
Yes, it makes us feel uneasy, which again fits well with Phantom. But it doesn't tell us who he is.
Strong operatic vocals in style of Ebenholz's theme would fit perfectly
Yeah,
here.
that would have been such a good fit for this character. I understand why they didn't, because again, the theme is that he cannot use his voice, so I think they must have think, well, he can't use his voice, so we won't give it an actual vocals. But in the end, it makes the song, as you mentioned, it feels lacking as a result.
A solution for it would be like, you know, if they ever have like an alternative theme for him, or I don't know, they would one day release an altar for Phantom, and well, as they usually do, they have like another theme for that character, right? So an option would be like having an operatic singer, but who also can do extreme vocals. So extreme vocals would be that dangerous voice mode of Phantom. Well, at least it's my headcanon developed for Phantom, for his voice. So like names like, you know, Devin Townsend, who can go like up high to like operatic range, Yari Menpa, those who can sing operatic styles and extreme vocals, guys like those like would fit perfectly, or in that style, you know. So instrumentally, I think that it gets the atmosphere correct, right? But atmosphere, like instrumentally wise, it's a bit bland, I think, for my tastes at least.
Yeah, very good atmosphere, not so much a character composition. So I would say it's, well, Abby, neither lacking, not too great.
I would put it in C.
Reasoning?
Right, besides Kobi.
Your reasoning being?
As you mentioned, they for different reasons they suffer the same problem essentially.
Yeah. Not so focused. Yeah, I think I'm gonna agree with you. Goes in C. Sorry for the, but a good voice not gonna save this one. Hidden list.
Renegade.
W's team.
W theme. Yeah. Well, it seems that in the community it's regarded as being one of the best written for the game.
And it has a very good
Character.
vibe. I didn't expect that of all genres to hear a very old school kind of rap.
Yeah, well, Substantial did a really good job with you know, with rapping and, you know.
Yeah. But clearly the focus of this song is not the rap, but the song itself, which is telling us how, despite how wacky, crazy, and quote-unquote random W seems to act, it's all part of a plan.
You know what's funny? Well, my headcanon about this song, like parts sang by Substantial, is actually Hooderer, like narrating W's story and, you know, advertising her, how dangerous she is.
That actually
Exnari, the female singer, is like being W herself. So.
Yeah, I think that's the case. But if that's the case, if the rap is supposed to represent Hedori, that will fit well with Hedori's own song, because there's a section in there's like this free flow sort of rapping that seems to be supposed to be connected to the song.
Exactly. I'm glad I'm not the only one to notice that.
Yeah, it seems a bit random till you remember that, wait, this guy is connected to W. So when you connect the both songs together, it's like, oh, that's what's supposed to be a connection.
Come on, he's the dad.
He's the dad of the group.
He's the Merc dad. Yeah.
Let the man
Funny,
see him.
Yeah. She has two moms and one dad. You know, Ines and Teresa.
Ines and Teresa, yeah.
Yeah. Well, song-wise, the main melody, like, you know, that those tubular bells are very catchy. The melodic parts and tonality transition for Exari to sing also done like perfectly, and you know, it makes the song, the overall composition interesting, not just, you know, typical you know, just your everyday rap you could hear on the radio. It's interesting even composition-wise. That's what I was referring to when I said they are experimenting with genres and styles to depict the character in the most proper, most correct way. They weren't shy from experiments, from doing stuff at that time. And props to them.
Yeah, not a bad song, as always, but I don't think it fully fits. It tells us a lot about W, not gonna lie, but it tells us more about the fact that she's lying. But what you are seeing is not who she is, and that she's playing you like a fiddle.
Exactly, and I was hoping that for Wishadel they would put a more emotional song, like, you know, bearing everything, like showing her bare self.
Actually removing the mask. But that's gonna wait for the time we actually reach that song.
Yeah, that should wait for the times when you know, someone rectifies that mistake.
That will be that. This is this. And this one, I think, yeah, I think a B is good for Renegade. Great song, but doesn't tell us that much about the character. Only that she's lying to you, and that she's unremorsefully smug about it.
Yeah, what also upsets me about, you know, W's song is that it doesn't show her, you know, the recurring theme about W as a character is her yearning for a specific person, like we know Teresa, right? But this song doesn't show it. It's a very crucial part about her character, and you know, the Baphomet, you know, silhouette depicted on her E2 art usually Baphomet is the demon associated with yearning for someone or something. So, well, one would expect, you know, in a character song for such little minuscule, you know, if they aren't depicted, they are probably minuscule, right? But for me, it's very valuable, crucial part about the character. One would expect them to show it, right?
Yeah, that's what I meant, that it focuses a bit too much on W's plan, but not so much on the character. It does make sense, we're not supposed to know, because back then she was yet to be released as an actual character. Or was it right when she was released? I don't remember very clearly. But the point is that we didn't knew much about W. So it makes sense that her song was just a misdirection. Again, I understand why they did it, but for the criteria of this tier list, I will say this is not exactly a great song, a character song. It tells you her plan, but that's about it.
Personally, I would put it on A because I'm biased.
You're biased.
But B for bias, okay, let it be.
Okay, we're gonna leave it on B for bias.
B for bias. Okay.
Well, just as the song said, she made you believe you had any choice.
Do what it takes.
Now we have sparkling hydraulics.
With this theme.
With this theme.
The one I was referring when talking about Suzerain's theme. Also written by
Obadiah Brown.
Obadiah Brown Beach? Seriously?
Yep.
Which is strange because until now I thought that it was written by David Westbourne because, you know, it's a shared feature of like industrial background noises. which are fitting for Weedy this time. She's a bioengineer after all, so yeah, it's perfect for her. And
yeah.
she's Iberian, so like the tonalities remind me a bit of flamenco, you know.
Like a soft flamenco. Yeah, now that you mentioned, I didn't notice before. Very good find. Personally, what I find is that these like castañuelas, I don't remember its name in English, but they make it sound like clockwork, like a machine, like a very clean and efficient machine, which is pretty much what this video about.
Yep. Well, she's obsessed about, you know, cleanliness, and I don't know if it's OCD or just, you know,
a bit of OCD.
It's sterile, you know, the song as well. Like it's sterile. It has a sterile feel. It's very clean production. Like, of course, Obadiah Brown Beach always does clean productions in every role.
Yeah, I understand the concept.
This song in particular feels like the most sterile, and it gets even, you know, epic in some parts. You know, probably her like Iberian background, you know, brave Spanish wife and stuff.
Personally, I saw it more like due to her speciality. How's it called? The character branch. She's a pusher, so there is this sudden burst of energy that is when she's activating her drone.
Yeah.
That are reflected in the music. That there are these like clockwork machinery that suddenly has this eruption of energy, and then it goes back into this subtle peace, this calm energy.
Yeah. Well, you mentioned castanets. Well, actually, those sounds, background sounds, are actually like they sound like castanets. Actually, they have like the rhythm of castanets.
Yeah. They're more like machines, but they make it sound like castanets.
Yeah. So perhaps it is like very curiously interesting made, sort of like flamenco song. Which is, you know, I just came with this realization.
Well, we learn something new every day.
Yeah, the more you learn,
the more you know. But yeah, I think this is a very good interpretation of Weedy as a character. Punctual, functional, clean, but with a burst of energy. because yeah, she might have her tendencies, her obsessive compulsions, the tidiness, the need to for everything to be neat, clean. But at the same time, there's this energy that she sometimes shows. She is a field operator after all. So
Well, she is Iberian. She is a passionate
and
person.
there's this Iberian passion, this hint that there's more energy behind her than just the mechanics. So I think that as for a character song, it's very well fitting of her.
Yeah, A, solid A from me.
Yep. Sparkling Hydraulics goes in A. Simple and clean. Cookie for those who got that reference. We have El Brillo Solitario.
I gotta like that one. Well, speaking about flamenco, there we go.
Thorn's character song.
You know, it's perfect. Come on, it's perfect. He's a swordsman. He's Iberian. He's, you know, well, he may not look as passionate as a, you know, your everyday, your regular Iberian, because the Striza requires immense amounts of dedication to like perform the movements, right?
Mm-hmm.
Thorn's admitted that numerous times, so that's the reason he's like a bit cold and, you know, collected more than he probably should be, more than the song depicts him. Right?
Yeah. And
But at
here's
the
what
same
okay.
At the same time, there's, you know, it's still a part of his character, you know, the passion and you know, bravery and you know, the fighting spirit and stuff like that. So still, for me, it's a perfect song through and through.
And here's when I get the controversial part out. At first I didn't think it fit him that much. Yeah.
Okay, your reasoning being?
It's too energetic. And as
Too
far
energetic.
as... Yeah. And Thorns, he's a strong individual, both in game and in lore. But he is the kind of strong people that knows himself is strong. And yet acts very calm, very controlled. It could be that this is part of how he's actually feeling inside, but personally, and as far as I have seen in media, and I'm counting manga and other stuff, Thorns hasn't shown to be this energetic inside.
I think he suppresses that part in order to perform the streets and his duties. I think it's still a part of him. Moreover, unlike I know that flamenco has, you know, subgenres, right?
Yeah.
And I don't unfortunately I don't remember like the names to which they correspond, like you know,
don't worry about it.
mellowness or, you know, fast-paced being or stuff like that. But despite its being, you know, on the faster side, on like being a more complex production arrangement, it's still a very clean production, a very, you know, accurate, punctual, very calculated, I would say, because, you know, flamenco music sometimes it tends to be a bit chaotic. Maybe I'm mistaken on that part, but sometimes it just, you know, a flow of feelings all around, you know. Some very strong feelings, passion and, you know, romantic.
We don't have
stuff.
that much flamenco over here, but yes, part of our music is derived from it. So yeah, I feel like flamenco is supposed to be more emotional, that it's supposed to give away these feelings, like we can hear it, something more to move to. And that's why I think that it doesn't feel Thorns that much, with one exception, the tempo. If you place the music behind his attacks, it fits well, which is also part of the whole deal with Destreza. that it's supposed to be a sword style based on perfect movements.
Exactly. And I would say that El Brillo Solitario gives, virtuoso feel to it. Like, a musician being a virtuoso with a guitar, the same way that
being
Thorns
talented.
being virtuoso with the sword,
Okay, that fits well with the character. That's a point I haven't talked about.
Because the guitar parts, sometimes they are very simplistic. Sometimes they are just, the rhythm and the melody. But occasionally they go into these arpeggio moves, like complex, fast-paced moves.
Okay, that made me change my mind. Then it does fit the character, but I still think it doesn't show him that well.
Perhaps it might just not show the full essence of his character.
Yeah, I personally would place it in C still. I don't know where would you think it should go.
A or B? B for bias.
B for bias. Yeah, okay. Yeah, I think it goes well in B because I think I might have misunderstood this song a bit, so I think B is a good place to place it. Redundancy again. But yeah, I think that's a good place. Because it does fit with that you mentioned, that it might be not so much his personality, but rather his skills as a fighter.
Yeah.
Well, there's nothing else to say but ole.
Ole.
Evolutionary mechanization.
Oh yeah.
Sumama's song.
Yeah, I had a huge misunderstanding with that song initially. But then I decided to re-listen to Appetite for Destruction, Guns N' Roses album.
Ah, okay.
And I suddenly got, enlightened. They have song like, Welcome to the Jungle and stuff.
Oh yeah, I know. As a matter of fact, when I hear that, what I think about this precisely is a mix between Welcome to the Jungle with a carnival song.
Yeah.
It's like if the carnival went heavy metal, well, not heavy metal, like it became into a rock song. In that regard, I can see it because, yeah, there's this technological part, but very in the background. Everything else is more like technological, this like trying to leave behind the savage ways, but at the same time it's part of what drives the song. You can take the snake out of the jungle, but you cannot take the jungle out of the snake, kind of scenario.
Yeah. Also, regarding it's not featuring any, industrial samples, referencing to her technological background. In, in that story, I don't remember its name, unfortunately, where Eunectus was introduced.
The Great Chief Return.
Gavial, the Great Chief returns, yeah. So there was this part where, Alive Until Sunset came to...
Acajual.
What's the place called? Acajual, yeah. So it gave them a huge cultural shock, and it changed their ways a bit, the ways of the tribes there.
Yeah.
So perhaps the song being a rock song is a reference to that.
Yeah, that's also what I thought, that because they suddenly arrived and give them the gift of rock, that's also why the music in the whole event was rock, because it was how big of an impact was for their culture. Again, fitting with the whole ordeal of Sumama's whole personality.
Again, be for biased. Because it's rock.
No, I think this it would be biased if I place it in A, because that aside, it doesn't tell us much about Sumama. It tells us that there's this fight between the wild and technology, but is not that clear. Like you mentioned, there's no technology, no techno, no industrial sounds. It's just rock. Very good rock, mind you. But other than that, it doesn't tell us that much about her personality. So yeah, I think B is a good place. Maybe even C.
I can actually reference you on something here.
Yep.
You mentioning some other previous songs being about a character in the moment. So I would say the same for Eunectus and this song, because as far as we know, with her skin at least, she becomes like a director of engineering at Rhodes. So probably at some point the jungle leaves her for the most part in the future. So perhaps this is the point of this song being about the point of conflict, because she was in conflict with Gaviel in that particular event. There was a conflict going on with them.
Yeah.
I think that this song is about it as well.
Well, it's a good interpretation, and yeah, it does sadly falls into that category of focusing on a character's party as the point in their life, not so much the character themselves.
Exactly, and rock and metal music being associated with rebellious nature.
Yeah, that's also
going
fits.
against the rules. So here we go.
Yeah, then with that information in consideration, yeah, I think she can go in B.
B for bias.
Totally in. Because rock never dies.
Hell yeah, brother.
Connection. Surtur's theme.
Well, that might be my least favorite one.
Yeah. Again, like with other characters, I understand what they were going for. It's supposed to represent this emptiness in the character due to her lack of memories. But the thing is that despite this amnesia thing, Surtur has a very strong personality.
Exactly.
It's very easy to know who she is. Even though she might not remember her past, he knows very well who she is right now. And that's not portrayed in this song.
Exactly.
Great song to depict her unknown past, but that's about it.
Yeah, the mystery, like figuring about herself, that is a huge part of her character. Like, again, being in a moment. We don't know anything about her sword, about her overlapping memories, about her past, about who she was, about whether she is that Sarkaz doomsday weapon or not, or is it the sword. Like, we know nothing at this point. And this song doesn't do her justice at all.
Yeah, you just mentioned a very good point. There's supposedly this conflict of memories that she's not even sure which one are hers and which one are not. Yet there's no conflict in this song. It's just mystery.
Yeah.
It's even soothing, which again, I don't think it suits Surtur in the slightest.
I don't know. Surtur after eating ice cream, perhaps? Okay, there is an interesting part in the song I want to mention, is when the visuals complement the song. When, the drums are hitting hard and the Molten Giant, shakes. That's the only, good part in that song. Like, something that at least... Something that's the only thing that depicts her.
Well,
I cannot understand those electronic samples, like in the middle, like those arpeggiated electronic samples.
I think that's like a connection to Arknights as a whole, or rather Rhodes Island. But still, it's just thrown in like random. I don't feel a connection between the mystery and this technological part. Is she advancing? Is she studying? No. She's just looking for her memories. That's it.
Yeah, exactly.
I think that this one is the very first one to go in B. Not
Yeah.
exactly a good fit for the character. It introduces her mystery well, but even then it's not that expansive, so I think this one goes in D.
Yeah, I concur.
So Reconnection, Sortu Song goes in D. As broken as she is, something had to be me.
Nothing reconnecting here. I cannot hear it.
Now let's go for some ice cream. Stay golden.
Yeah. Maria and Earl,
Marian Earls,
aka Blemish Shine.
very own team. This one I like it. Unlike the previous one, which is just like one aspect of the character and not even that well promoted. This one is very good at explaining who she is. There's these like country vibes, like these fantasy vibes. It tells us that Maria is this like almost country bumping that seems to have her head on the clouds, have this idea of knighthood. But as the song goes, it starts to get stronger and stronger, which also fits with her personality, that she slowly gets more and more comfortable with her as a knight, but at the same time it never loses this countryside. So, I don't know if I make myself clear, but there's this kind of journey through the song where it kind of ends at the same place, but at the same time with all the experiences she went through.
Let me think about it. Well, I do like this song. Considering it's about a Kazimierz character, the genre, the style they chose for themselves is usually, you know, like electronic drum and bass, right? There is like no electronic music here whatsoever, right? Again, complimenting what you said about her having, you know, her ideals about knighthood, right?
Yeah.
She's a very skilled, you know, craftswoman. She's a very skilled engineer, and yeah, like numerous characters around notice that it would be better for her just, you know, crafts things rather than being a competition knight. Despite that, she did quite good in the Kazimierz major. So this song is more like, again, character in the moment.
Yeah, that's also something to point out.
Character fighting for, you know, Neural family legacy, because there was no one to uphold it at that moment. Mlinar was, you know, disillusioned. Margaret was, you know, far away with the followers. Well, Auntie Sophia decided to step out from it, from the competition knighthood. Yeah, injury and stuff, and she decided to train Maria instead. So yeah, like a lot of burden on her shoulders, a lot of, you know, legacy stuff of, you know, things of the old days to, you know, uphold, to reminisce on. And
okay, I remember the word I wanted to use. It's like there's this naivete to the song, this innocence.
Exactly. Maria is, well, the younger sister here after all, so
yeah. And that's what I meant, that even when the song starts to get heavier and more a bit like epic, again symbolizing how she does well in the competition, there's still this naivete behind it all. It might be an in the moment kind of song, but unlike others, this one it goes very in detailing how was her journey through that moment.
It wasn't a pleasant journey through, you know, Maria and Earl event, through the competition. It was very hard for her to compete against those knights. It was very hard for her to compete with those knights.
Well, there's also the name of the song, Stay Gold. Yeah. Even despite everything she saw, everything she felt in her own body, she still had this determination on her. She remained the a proud member of the Nerad family. She stayed gold. So,
Exactly.
well, I don't say it's a perfect song. It's not a rank S. I think a A rank is very fitting for this song, as it tells us a lot of Maria, not everything, but it tells us enough about her personality, who she is as an individual and even as a knight.
Okay. Well, I might just agree with you on that, but I have quite a personal bias about this song. There are some parts that are a bit too simplistic. I understand that it's like supposed to be, like a medieval epic song, first and foremost. I think that the main melody is repeated a bit too, continuously, a bit too, often. There are some parts, in the bridges, in the verses, that are a bit too simplistic and a bit too goofy and silly. Oh, again, probably to
Intentionally.
Intentionally, probably, yeah, because she's a naive young girl that isn't exactly in her right place, because she just had this huge burden. She just found it on herself, like a huge burden to uphold the status and the honor of her family. But yeah, she could have just chosen not to, because Kazimierz was all about commerce at that time, like knighthood, honor, whatever. Like, yeah. Again, this is my personal bias. I think it's a bit too unrefined and simplistic, but perhaps, again, maybe, like you said, it's intentionally done.
Yeah, to keep the sense of innocence, the sense that this little girl is finding her courage to be a knight, despite not being fitted to be a knight.
Yeah. Again, there is a part in the lore, from what I remember, perhaps it was even mentioned by you, that her Originium arts, typical for a Neural family, like the lights and constructs from lights, Blemishheim's Marias are stronger than all of Neral's family to go together.
Yeah.
So, further development.
Probably. It would be sad though if she managed to get an altar and it's a knight. It will be sad, because then she will have lived behind her dream of being a mechanic. What's the word they used?
Craftsmanship.
A craftsman. Craft work.
Yeah.
But it's like they're giving the hint that yes, she is the legendary Nerl that appears once a generation. But at the same time, it's also no, she doesn't like to fight. So it will be interesting how they make it work. And then I wouldn't be surprised that they actually portray her actual personality in the song, her full personality for everyone to see.
I just don't hope it would be regular pop song like that they are releasing
so.
right now.
I doubt it. I hope that they're. I'm sure they're gonna keep it epic.
Again, at least at this point, they were experimenting, trying different genres, and they almost every time they just hit the spot. They just throw and hit the bullseye with every single song. Well, almost. Again, we have reconnection.
Yeah, well, not everything can be perfect. But again, returning to the tiers, I say A. You say
B.
What can be
B
the
for biased again, but this time.
I was gonna say B for Blamey.
Okay.
We can leave it. B for Blamey. Hopefully, this night's futures will be even brighter. But for now, in B she stays. This one is Comfort.
Confront, yeah. Again, one of my favorite songs. Yeah, and it seems that I was mistaken when when we were discussing Lisa of the Valley, Suzerain's song. I was mistaken about David Westbourne writing Sparking Hydraulics when he actually wrote this one as well. So background industrial noises, self-explanatory here. But unlike with Suzerain, it fits Rosmontes perfectly. It's like gives a neuro funky feeling, something Mick Gordon experimented in Doom soundtracks as well.
Yeah, this is like reconnection, but actually taking into account the character. There is this mystery, this longing for something that is not there. In this case, Rosmonte's very own memories. The fact that she cannot remember everything. Also, there's this techno, but in this case it fits. Why? Because, well, she has her tablet to keep her memory, the few memories she can remember, and of course her huge gears.
Her huge gears and her huge, chip, originium chip implanted into her head.
Yeah,
presumably a soul of his brother. Soul of her brother, because as we know, originium can contain, memories and souls.
Yeah.
Of the deceased ones. So presumably, it contains the soul of her, deceased brother, and that's how her abilities manifest.
Yeah. Which also managed to fit into this song, because that you have the percussion, this techno part, but also there's this like underlaying more like a tune thingy. I don't know the technical name, sorry. That it goes behind the main song, making it feel like there's two songs at the same time. They are in harmony, but they are different tones.
Yep. Also, there are some synth melodies. They are gated. They're just like bleeping, But it reminds me of a cat.
Meow.
So, considering like Rosmontes' race is feline, she's a cat.
She's cat.
So those synth sounds remind me of a cat meowing, like meow, 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 occasional meowing. Also,
probably
she's trying to remember and contain her memories, right?
Mm-hmm.
Near the end of the song, we have like a huge white or pink noise or blue noise or whatever it's called, a huge wall of sound from white noise being starting to being dominant near the end of the song, which signifies that all her memories start to get blurry, because it's the part of her character she occasionally forgets something, right, or someone.
Yeah, how she's dependent of her technology in order to remember. Otherwise, her memories just become a blur until they disappear.
Yeah. So there is the song became suddenly less intense with the rhythm, but this white noise wall of sound gets more intense instead, growing and taking the place.
As if slowly making itself known, like this is something that's not gonna leave, and something just gets too close.
Yeah,
I think
there's still
okay.
There are still melodies going on in the background, like more distinct melodies near the end of the song, surprisingly. I had a hard time to discern what are those actually. I still haven't figured out what are those. What are those meant? Like, David Westbourne just put them there like to make the song melodic, or
probably as what's the word? As to signify how her memories are, well, fading or blurry, hard to grasp, but at the same time they are not 100% deleted. There's still something there. She cannot fully grasp it, but it's still there. It probably could be the the reason why he plays that mini tune at the end.
Perhaps. Also, damn it, I forgot. I forgot. I was just about to say something about the ending of the song. Those melodies, they are pitched lower in the end. Usually it signifies, like a glitch, like
Okay.
like an error, like
that something's failing in the system.
Yeah. They're just a slight pitch downwards, just slightly, not too like overly pitched, but just enough for me to hear it, to discern it as a feature. Yeah.
I haven't noticed it yet, but now that you mention it, it fits with the character, both because of the whole memory thingy and how it is in her character that just all of the sudden get all emotional. It's not that explicit in this song, but it's something that could be related to that fact.
Moreover, there are actually quite a lot of wrongly pitched notes in the song. Well, to signify that the exact point we were just making about memories and stuff.
And so something at that time notice of this song is how soft it is.
Yeah.
It's very in line with Rosmonti's personality, or at least how she presents herself as this unassuming, gentle little kitty that's just there. But at the same time, there's if you apply it like this, there's also the white notes that is slowly rising, as how the tension slowly rises as you realize that this little kitty can go and level a whole building if she wants.
Level a whole building, level a whole army, you name it. Like, yeah, and remembering Lone Trail, how she had, spoilers. I don't know if I'm allowed to tell spoilers here.
It's been more than a couple of months, not 6 months. My bad.
Yeah.
Don't know how to count, but enough time.
With Lone Trail, she had murderous intent against the person who experimented on her, and if it wasn't for Ifrit, it might have ended badly.
Yeah.
So, yeah. She still harbors, resentment and anger and stuff. So perhaps the ending parts of that song kind of signify that.
How she still needs to. No, despite this calmness, it can just suddenly go dramatically in another way, which again fits very well with Rosmonti's. So personally, I say this will go in an S, because it tells us a lot of her character and her personality. Despite being such a soft song, it says a lot.
Yeah. One of my favorite songs from Arknights, and I have no objections about it being in S.
So confront, because it is. Totally not biased.
Totally not biased. Gotta love your orbital striker weapon, cat girl.
Okay, this one is Lithos.
Lithos.
Yeah,
have fun. Yeah, have fun memories about this one. It has a very catchy recurring melody. Well, catchy maybe not the word, because the song is very somber, very sad, tries to be very atmospheric.
Yeah. Very heavy in atmosphere, as a matter of fact.
Yeah.
But I think it's also like Molthrock's very own armor. It's misleading. Because at first you expect this somber, almost scary tone, and then it veers into something slightly more hopeful. There's still this tension throughout the whole song, but it doesn't feel entirely terrifying.
Yeah. You know, she just doesn't just weaponize soil and earth and rocks. She just doesn't, you know, use to do her bidding. For her, earth and soil is a friend, you know. She's a shaman after all. So
A very physical one.
she's a very physical one at that. She feels very strong connection, mentally, physically, well, in any way. Come on, she gifts, you know, clay figures to her closest friends. After all, so yeah.
Yes, you look at less like a terrifying. Uh, what's the word? Terrifying being, and that's not the word I wanted to use. And apply it to the song. You start to see that it's not so much something that's trying to scare you. It's something that's trying to lull you, to calm you. Just in a very unconventional way. Again, like Modrock herself and how she presents.
Yeah, big friendly giant. You know, like something that is scary, but tries to persuade you that, well, not persuade you, tries to show you that it isn't like it has no malicious intents whatsoever.
But again, once more, there is this tension throughout the song. Like, you want to relax, but at the same time, there's something in the back of your head that says you shouldn't.
The tension comes from, you know, Modrick's personal experiences. She's a Sarkaz, one of probably the last of her kinds. You know, we haven't seen any gargoyle Sarkaz except for her, the very least, yet. Sarkaz are, you know, persecuted. They aren't really liked, aren't really loved. Well, except for me, I guess.
Do you really think you are the only one? Really? Really?
Yeah, I know. I know I'm not the only one. But speaking about Terra,
yeah, well, lore-wise.
on the contrary, lore-wise, yeah. So, yeah, it's hard. It's hard living like that. And she's, you know, among those Sarkaz who are more, you know, old school. You know, like
not so much violence, then more like you say, like a shaman trying to be in balance with nature, or in her case, rocks.
Yeah, there was the word. God damn it, I forgot about it. Okay, whatever. Like, well, I made my point. She like isn't really. You know, it's the song itself. It feels ancient. You know, like telling a very ancient story.
Yeah. That's something I haven't catch on, but you have a point.
And well, Modrock, probably being one of the last of her kind, you know, upholding those, you know, traditional arts, like carrying that legacy of being a Sarkaz, of being an infected, of being a gargoyle, of being a shaman, practicing those ancient Saltikas arts. Deep-rooted into the soil.
That's deep-rooted. A very good metaphor.
Deep-rooted because, yeah, well, that was that's the thing I took into consideration when I wrote my theme. Again, no shameless advertisement intended, but again,
yeah.
I even like, you know, used the main melody here because it was extremely catchy. Like Stephen Grove is an amazing composer, so no wonder. Also, Modrock is like, you know, a very solid defense. You know, those feelings of, you know, lost homeland is haunting here. Kasdel isn't a thing anymore. Like, it's in ruins, right?
Yeah.
Even though, not the correct word. Even despite that, in the end of Volume 1, she and her group decided to go to Kasdel, to none other place than Kasdel. Like she was a part of Reunion. She was in Volume 1. She saw like everything with her own eyes. She had a little, conflict, a little beef there. She was wrongly mistreated there along with her group. And like the conclusion she made after her journey is to return to her homeland, which isn't,
Thing.
not isn't a thing anymore, right? But it's still, it's the soil, the earth, it's still there,
And that's enough for her.
That's enough for her again. Like
Yeah, it's like again with this piece, it's like at first it gives you this misunderstanding, like this is something that you're supposed to be afraid of, but the more you listen to it, the more it becomes more of a soothing thing, more of a calming kind of gesture. Just that
calming,
this
but
gesture is coming from something that doesn't let you put your guard down. What
it's
is
sorrowful.
it that in the background? Is it a violin or is it a bass?
You know, like the main leading melody in the background.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's mostly violins, cellos, and contrabasses. String orchestra. There are some horns, like in very far in the background occasionally. There are some, ambient, basses. It's very ambient heavy.
Soft,
Like,
but at the same time, I feel like there's this hidden energy that's just beneath the Earth's surface. Like you say, those horns in the distance.
Perhaps it's because she's disconnected from her homeland, or I don't know. She doesn't really need a specific ground to stand on to utilize her arts. Perhaps it's a sign of, she's one with the soil and the earth, and without it, she's, just a girl with a hammer.
Very big hammer at that, but I think this is a good interpretation. I think they could also went a bit further, but as it is, I will say this is an 8 tier.
This is an 8 tier. It tells a lot about the character.
Yeah.
But it lacks the energy, It lacks the fighting spirit. It lacks the epicness. It lacks the.
Well, Modrock is the kind of individual that if she wanted to, she would prefer to be unnoticed. But yeah, it does lack that energy she has. That she can move mountains if she would like to.
Yeah, the fighting spirit she has when necessary. That was my intention with my theme for her.
Which you can hear in this page. Link in the description.
Thank you. How shameless of me. Sorry.
Yeah, it's okay. Not like you are the first to do that, and you won't be the last.
Yeah.
I'm gonna be blunt from the very beginning. I really like the name of this song. Why? Because what's the whole deal with Mountain?
He likes to drink?
No, that he is a gentle giant. He's been incarcerated for all this time, yet he always knows when to stay in control. But what's the first thing one will do when you finally make it out of prison? Well, do those things you were unable to do. The most typical thing is that someone grabs a beer and shocks themselves down till they are blackout, until they black out. But not him. He literally just drinks enough to get tipsy, but that's about it.
He just wants to get the taste, you know. Just...
Yeah. He wants to enjoy it, but drunk. He want to get lost in it. So, like I said, from the very title of the song, perfectly fitting for the character. Whoever write this song, which I have the name, I don't know why I don't say it. Adam Gutman.
Oh yeah. Adam Gutman.
Adam Gutman was the one who wrote the song, so yeah, he perfectly captured Anthony from the title.
He's the GOAT after all. He did a lot of amazing themes for Arknights and for Reverse 1999. So.
That explains a lot.
Yep.
Regarding the song itself, again, there's this chill to it, this calmness. It's like, well, it's not like this is supposed to be a jazz, no?
Yep, it's like contemporary jazz, something like that, and a bit of, you know, lo-fi thing going on there.
Again,
especially
fitting
with the rhythm section.
Again, fitting with his whole deal of being this very strong guy, but yet very gentle individual.
And well-educated as well.
And well-educated, very good point. Which it fits with the whole jazz thingy. Jazz song.
He's sophisticated enough not to get, you know, smashed, hammered, just to get tipsy, you know.
Mm-hmm.
Just to be able to read a good book and
enjoy the moment.
And enjoy the moment, yeah. But Mountain can be also quite ferocious and violent on the battlefield.
And that's the part that is lacking in this song. Yeah, I was gonna mention that as well. I like it for the concept. It takes a very good part of his personality, but it's at least not the whole character.
Yeah, it's a half of the character, or I don't know, at least 60%, because
I will go with 70%. But yeah, it's like
70 because it's what he would rather want to be, rather than, you know, the battle machine he is gameplay wise, right? So yeah, there we have it. Drink responsibly.
So this one, where do you think it will go? Personally, I say an A fits him well. It's not exactly too different from the character. It could have explored more. I think that's the word, how you'd say. But at the same time, it's not everything the character has to give.
Yeah, that's why I would rather put it into B.
Low B or A. How about low A?
Flip a coin.
I don't have a coin in my hands. How about you?
I do. Okay. Heads for A, tails for B. God damn it, it's too high. Oh, okay. We have tails. Tails for B.
Okay. So, Tipsy's a chill sound, but not enough to tell us who Mountain is. But it tells us a lot, but not everything.
Well, 70%.
Coming up next, this is Till the Bell Tolls, Arketo's song.
Also one of my favorites.
An interesting take, not gonna lie.
Yep.
Because you will think, oh, it's from a nun, so there's gonna be this whole choir and religious like theme. But no, it's more tranquil.
As if, like not necessarily like all church themes need to be with choirs and organ, right? It still has that monastery and church feel to it. I especially love the melody and the arrangement of it. It's beautiful. It's gorgeous.
I think what they were trying to sell with this one is not so much who is Arketo, but rather how she feels in the monastery, how she sees it. This is why she loves it so much. This is why she goes so far to trying to protect that place.
She's very dedicated to.
It's her safe haven, and it's what this song is trying to portray.
Yeah, it's more about the monastery rather than Arketo, I guess, at this point. Well, going so far as to delve into commercial stuff in order to keep the business in the monastery afloat.
Even turning into an idol.
Yeah, even turning her into an idol. Well, she's voiced by Yonori Minasa, after all, so...
Yeah, it makes sense.
An idol voiced by idol, so...
But...
God damn it, I don't even know what else to tell about this song, because...
Yeah, it's very calm, it's relaxing. But regarding the criteria for this list, I'm afraid it doesn't go that very high, because again, it doesn't tell us much about Arketo as an individual. It tells us how much she likes this place that she wants to protect, but not about her.
For now, I would rather, again, state that it's Arketo in the moment. A very long moment, because,
a very long and important moment for her.
Yeah, so long the monastery exists, it's maintaining it. It's the purpose of her life, after all. So turning it into the essence of the character might be a mistake on developers' part, on storytelling and stuff. But I doubt that we can argue with that. It's still comparing to what some in real life people might have. Some people have families, some people have businesses, some people have passion projects. It's the same situation here.
More about her passion, not so much about the individual.
Yeah, her aspiration, her her status, her vibe and atmosphere surrounding her, which is the monastery again. It's a huge part of her character.
Yeah,
it is, and
it's an important part. Is what set her towards this whole journey. So, think from that point, from that perspective, that okay, this is not entirely a character song, but does it portray the importance of that place? I will say yes. Again, for her, this monastery is this safe haven, this very important place she has to protect. And in the song, it relates to it. It's this serene atmosphere, almost angelic, without getting overly religious. It's just her little paradise.
Well, Libri people tend not to be as religious as Sancta, after all, despite Iberia adopting their religion.
No, I meant song-wise. It's not on the all organs and choirs kind of song, but rather more.
We have organs and choirs for Laterano, after all.
Yep.
With dubstep.
For good measure, very important.
Yeah. Okay, I don't know what else to add here.
I would say a C, because it depicts well her passion for the church. I forgot the name, but monastery. But it doesn't tell us much about her. So
yeah,
as beautiful as this heaven is, it goes in C. This one I'm gonna ask you to please take a deep breath. Is it Little Buster or Little Neon Buster? I don't remember what the name.
I guess after my Furigami, people might have misconception about that I hate Ark. I don't hate Ark.
Just making sure. Just making sure. One never knows.
my song was a joke at the. I should probably have uploaded it 1st of April. Really, or for April Fools, it would be most fitting for it. Again, with this song, I actually kind of dig this song. It fits to all.
Oh, really? Your reasoning being?
It has like 90s kung fu movies vibe, stuff like that. And I would say that it rather fits Lee's agency rather than Ark himself. You know, it's very combative because Ark himself is, is a medicine practitioner. He's a doctor, right?
Yep.
A very non-orthodoxal doctor, but still a doctor.
Well, like a
He has some, Baka healer. He has some strange shticks here and there. He is a pharmacist in the way, a friendly fire pharmacist. But still, if you can manage with that, you can actually get some benefits from it. Again, gameplay is, but I digress. With this song, again, utilizing Chinese instruments, very fitting.
Yeah, very. This is perhaps one of the more Chinese songs, at least until the Sui siblings start getting their own songs. But I think this, like you mentioned it fits more Lee's detective agency as a whole, and not so much Ak.
Yeah.
Because it's way too energetic. Ak is more like this chill, kind of gremlin guy. So I don't see this one fitting for him per 1-to-1. If anything, I say it's a great New Year song, New Chinese Year. But for Ak, I don't see it.
Yeah, might be. I would like to also mention the melodies are quite catchy, especially the main one that repeats itself with with the flute. And I especially dig the usage of old, Juno synthesizers there. I just love those. So yeah, I immediately recognize that it's a Juno synth there. Yeah.
Will you mind explaining what those are?
There are different. Well, in older times, they had like different synthesizers that used different like transistor lamp technologies in order to produce sounds. So each synthesizer used to have a distinct sound. So we have like Russian Polyvox, we have Junos, we have Rolands, we have different drum machines from old times that also had like different sounds presets and stuff like that. Well, like now with now existing digital synthesizers, you can get whatever sound you want, right? But with the older ones, you were a bit constrained in that department. But that's the magic of it, because again, each specific synthesizer is could produce a very distinctive, very unique analog sound, which you can't get from a digital synthesizer these days. At least that's
like with a regular instrument, or well, an old instrument, it's locked in the kind of sounds it can make, and it's a matter of being able to properly organize them. Organize them to make them sound in symphony? No. In harmony with the song.
Well, that might be more about personal preferences
Yeah.
and getting the right vibe. Because, you know, old synthesizers there used, they were a bit out of pitch.
That's also that.
And it immediately signified about them being an old machinery, old analog machinery. They were tough to, you know, get into the right pitch. The arpeggiators were tough to get into the right, you know, BPM, right? Into the right rhythm and speed. With those old things, it was a bit tougher than nowadays, of course. And yeah, well, someone would argue that, you know, from older synthesizers you would get, you know, a more distinctive, warmer sound, more lively sound, right?
Yeah.
Whereas from digital it would be like a more, you know, dry, devoid of life, stuff like that. But it's, again, it's a matter of preference. Whichever suits, whichever people are more used to, like, working with. So in here, yeah, old synthesizers for, you know, old vibe.
It gives it, like you mentioned, this like 90s feel,
Yeah.
which
80s,
also fits
90s, like
with Lee's whole stick, because if you have seen
Hong Kong
the
action films.
yeah. If you have seen the detective agency's shorts anime, it's very
did.
very 90s, not so full of energy, but more like of an old vibe per se, which I think this song is also very heavy on.
Yeah, that's what I liked about it, and the show as well.
Well, I think it's safe to say that, well, this one is maybe a C, perhaps a D even, because great song, very entertaining, very oldie, but it doesn't fit Ak at all.
C.
You think it's more of a C?
More of a C.
Well,
Unlike with Reconnection, it's, you know, Ak is still part of the agency, right? And
yeah.
for him, his, you know, his colleagues, his friends are, you know, very important part. So.
Okay, yeah, makes sense. So this one goes in C. Just in time for the Chinese New Year.
Yeah.
Or rather to get what's she called? Shoe in line, in time.
Yeah. Welcome to the rice fields and all that.
Yeah, you have yet too far for Virtuosa.
Poor Blob.
Yeah, poor Blob. Feels sad for me. Okay, this one is Saga's song. Self-observation.
Yep.
This one is not a bad song as always. But again, I think it falls into that focused in a single aspect of the character. In this case, her whole warring monk stick.
There is much more deeper going on with her monk warrior shtick. Which is not just, you know, fighting with a weapon against, you know, physical adversaries.
Yeah, there's a reason she's the only character who has two sprites, one for fighting and one for talking.
Yeah. So what was I going to say?
Sorry.
That she is a monk that strongly resembles the Buddhist monks of, you know, our world. Her skin especially signifies that, you know, there are, you know, 7 worldly desires or something like that in Buddhism. And in her skin, in her idol animations, it's, you know, it's depicted. and 7 different sagas or 6 or how many there was. I don't remember. They essentially, well, some people regarded them as representing 7 evils, like 7 vices, right?
Yeah.
But those are actually the analog of, like, the counterpart of 7 vices. Not the counterpart, but they have a similar thing in Buddhism, like
The 7
worldly
virtues
desires.
and their the 7 desires and their 7 counterparts. Let's just call it that.
Yeah. So I see this song as Saga fighting against those.
Oh, okay. Very different interpretation.
Because the visual aesthetic complements that as well, because the background changes a lot, like between the physical and the metaphysical, the spiritual world. So she's fighting physical adversaries and non-physical, non-corporeal adversaries, like vices and distractions, desires, Buddhist stuff they try to avoid, right?
Okay, yeah. And it fits with the name of the song as well.
Yeah, it's like a self-meditation in order to
Self-observation.
fight.
She fighting her own vices. Okay.
Exactly.
Looking at it from that point, okay, it fits her way more than I originally give it credit for.
Also want to point out that it's written by one of my favorite metal musicians, Matthew Carlisle. Has an amazing band, Xanthocroid. Epic stuff. They recorded it back in the day. So yeah. Seeing him like credited as a composer was like a huge surprise for me, because like previously I know him for just being involved in Xanthocroid, but now seeing him like a a solo composer for the gacha game. I was like pleasantly surprised. So yeah.
Well, that goes in line with Hypergriff. They will try every new thing they can find. Oh well, different thing in this case. Back to the song. Okay, if it is supposed to be her fighting her own demons, her inner demons, it does fit well in that regard. But that doesn't elevate it that much because, again, it's just an aspect of the character.
Yeah, it's the character in the moment.
Hmm.
Then again, by meditating and fighting her inner demons, she managed to get out of Dusk's paintings.
Yeah, there's also that. So it is a very important part of her character.
Very important, very huge part of her character. That Buddhism shtick, that Buddhism, counterpart in Terra. Very, very important part of Saga as well. So I very hope that in the future Higashi event it would get like more, delved into the religious part. They probably have, counterparts for Shintoism and, Buddhism as well.
Knowing Hypergriff, most likely we will arrive first at one of the bigger cities. Pretty much their version of Tokyo. My money is in Akihabara.
Probably called Edo or something.
Gotta get those Dakimakuras. Okay. Well, with that information...
Buy Eureka's one for Hydra.
Make it two. One for use and one for showing off purposes. So this one, I think it's gonna go in... Well, rather stay in B.
Yeah.
Well, interpretation of a part of her character, but again, just one part of the character. Also, I'm not gonna lie, despite being so... not simplistic, but more like... oriental.
Yeah.
It's still...
It's epic. It's
pretty
a massive
epic.
production.
It tells you that whatever she fought, it was quite a fight.
Oh yeah.
Really placing our second best doggo in a very different light. Okay, this one is Winter Absolution.
Oh, Shining.
Shining Steam. This one was the more confusing song for me when it released. And I'm not exactly sure why.
It's confusing, it's complex, it's mystic, it's difficult to comprehend.
Which in turn fits Shining a lot.
Exactly.
Because there's also this, like, sorrow to it. Mainly from the singer, who I'm pretty sure is supposed to represent Shining herself.
Grief ever echoes in our souls. Quoting Shining again.
It starts with this sorrowful feeling, with this regret.
I know that Latin lyrics were adapted for this song, like an old Latin, poem.
Oh, that one I didn't knew.
I can't, after seeing her E2 art a long time ago, where she, just stands with the sword half unsheathed and, seemingly chants something, right?
Mm-hmm.
She probably chants something, right? Or calls someone, just, right? But whenever I see that, I can't stop imagining her actually singing. Well, singing actually isn't a part of, sarcasm, right? It's more part of, music is part of Lithuania. On the other hand, again, we've seen, Yelena Frostnova casting her art while singing.
I wouldn't be surprised if it's also part of her arts. I mean, it never say that it had to be something exclusive to Lithuanian.
Well, and considering how solemn Shining is in her, voice expressions, in her phrases, her phrasing in her speech, chanting something, Latin for her arts, as a, in Harry Potter they had, Latin word-based, conjurations and spells. Wouldn't be a surprise if Shining, used something like that to chant her arts, and the song actually being a hint to it. Whenever Arknights anime gets to the point where Shining is depicted properly as a character, perhaps you might see her in action, chanting, phrases from the song.
Probably she's just gonna be a background character, sadly. Because she doesn't do that much at the beginning of the story.
She deserves to be an ultra character a long time ago, along with Siege, and properly demonstrated her, swordsmanship. She's a badass swordswoman, after all. Probably, they will make her a Sastesia archetype. But okay, I digress from the song. Actually, it's not so much to tell about the song. It's epic. But it's difficult. It's complex to understand.
Mm-hmm.
Shining on the surface seems like a very, simple character. She's, solemn. She's, dedicated as a member of the follower group.
Mm-hmm.
She cares about Nightingale and Earl. They care about her. She's not really fond of, that sarcasm tradition going on in her family.
Okay, that one. It is a spoiler, so let's leave it vague.
Yeah, it is a spoiler. Sorry. Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
But yeah, this song shows that there is more to this character to just a setting individual. There's this whole conflict of emotion, of regrets. Again, as you mentioned it, this is one of the cases when I say that even the visuals reflect this. There's this blizzard storm in the middle of the music video, which makes you think that she's also in the middle of that. That's not just some random storm, but that's actually her own thoughts, her own emotions conflicting one another. And how, despite how she's feeling, she still has to keep herself in the center of the storm calm. Because otherwise she's not gonna be able to reach her destination.
Have you ever read Terry Goodkind's books?
Sorry, what?
Yeah, you know, Legend of the Seeker.
No, sorry, I cannot say I have.
The Wizard's Rules, more precisely, because the Legend of the Seeker is a TV series based on those series of books.
No,
okay,
I'm
so
sorry.
there was there was this character, Mother Confessor, and you know, Shining gives the vibes of it. I don't know. Perhaps some of the listeners, some of the viewers might recognize and, you know, tell that it might click. You know, that they might see as well.
Okay, you're gonna look about it.
Yeah. Something like that, because you know the song starts from like "Sing My Tongue Redemption." Very fitting. She's a redeemer. She's a confessor in a way. You know. She also has, like, you know, ancient role to uphold in that Sarkas hierarchy. Oh, at least it seems that way. At least from the song, I get that feeling. I don't really got to see Shining a lot in the story, unfortunately.
Yeah, sadly, even in side stories,
felt...
she doesn't involve herself that much, but at least that part about the regrets, the solemn part of her character that we do know about her, it does fit. It gets transferred in this song. But also, and something I just noticed, there's this determination in the singer. And again, considering this is supposed to be Shining singing herself, it also might allude to the conviction she herself has. How, despite having turned on her family and pretty much her race, she's still determined to do what she believes to be right.
Yeah, also a thing I want to note is that there is quite a frequent choir utilization here in this song.
Yeah.
Probably to, you know...
The spoiler.
Yeah, spoiler.
Yeah, something that at first just didn't make sense, but now that we know the context of it, it's like, oh, okay, that explains a lot of things now. Because it's this, to say it in a non-spoilery way, like the predecessors calling out for her, yet she still keeps on singing, keeps her on going. So yeah, clearly this song was written taking into consideration Shining as a whole, not just the information we had back then. So
yeah,
I think this is either an A or even probably an S because of everything it's saying about the character. If I cannot see much, it's not so much because the song fails to convey it, but rather because we have so little information about Shining.
Yeah, and that's why I would rather put it into A.
So, while it tells us a lot, sadly, there's not much context to understand it, so for now, in A
still
it stays.
Still a big mystery. Mm-hmm.
Next one we have Gearing Up, Passengers Theme.
Oh, yeah, I like that one.
This one has some...
Even it...
okay, go on.
Sorry, I had to, like, you know, get my thoughts together about it. Even though it's you know, simplistic, it's not like a massive production. It's still very atmospheric. It's still rich in ambience. It's it consists of two parts essentially because it speeds up near the end. The visual aesthetics complement it in a way that, you know, we have like Elliot pondering into deep thoughts, into deep thinking about, you know, probably his past and present and the future. Because essentially we got to see him in different stages in life,
in the event.
Walk in the Dust, yeah. So yeah, we get to see him and as a teenager, then we got to see him as an adult. And he had to suffer a lot, and it was done fully from his own volition. Like, he wanted exactly that.
He wanted to exact his revenge.
Yeah.
And that's what I also noticed in this theme, that it's slow but methodic. And not like Widis, but while Widis is like this energy, this mechanical energy growing into something like more, let's say, positive. This one is slowly getting more and more dubious, more not terrifying, what's the word? Mischievous? No, that's
menacing.
Menacing, thank you, that's the word. Slowly getting menacing. How he is slowly getting things in order so he can enact his revenge in one fell swoop. Which ironically is what, when we start the story, his story, we start by the end, when everything has already been done. This song, on the other hand, they start from the beginning, slowly building up, slowly getting things ready, as the title implies, gearing up in order to set his plan in motion. And while that will set this song as another song set in a single moment, this one, well, it's a single moment, but it's the most important moment for this character. When everything he has been preparing is finally set into motion. And this song interprets very well. Not to mention, it also shows a part of Passenger. His stubbornness, determination, and his planning. He's very careful and very meticulous.
Yeah, a very smart, intellectual, ingenious guy with ingenious, tech developed by him. And you mentioned about electricity, positive. So there are positive charges, negative charges. Then near the end, like I like the last part especially. It gets more complex in production. Like a surge of electricity going around. It's like I have a feeling of a Tesla coil. As well, there are some, a bit of tribal percussions in the background, signifying that Sargon has become a huge part of his being, at that point. Because he essentially became a warlord in Sargon, right? So
he became one of the main pillars of the lower world of Sargon.
Yeah.
And it's very subtle, but while telling a part of the story, they are managing to tell you parts of him, who he is and how he acts. So yeah, I think this is one of the best song character-wise. It tells us a lot of the character without having to get too distorted about it. And again, it's one of those songs that tells you a lot without having to be this over-the-top epic. It's just subtle, soft.
It gets more epic in the end, but
it gets epic, but again, it's like his revenge. By the time it gets epic, it ends. By the time people realize what was happening, it was already too late.
Yeah, he planned it meticulously to the point he was able to execute it swiftly. And, they didn't know what hit him.
Yep.
Yeah, that's the beauty of human mind, of coming up with a plan and executing it swiftly.
Yeah. Well, for that, and well, how well it fits the character, I would say that's an S.
I have no objections.
Yep. Gearing up, and Gossenger is placed in S. Next one's gonna be a very verbose one. Immutable.
Even though it's one of my favorites.
Calls its very own theme.
Yeah. It was difficult to grasp at the beginning, but then, you know, I've started delving more into the lyrics and Melissa Scotland, you know, vocal execution on it. And it started to make sense overall.
I think the beauty of this one is the very first line, "Bow to the wind." One of the most famous lines is, "The wind can rage about, but the mountains won't bow down to it." Well, maybe not in that moment, but with enough time, even the mountains bow to the wind, which fits with Calcit. She might not be doing much in an instant, but she has time. Time is everything she has.
She has all the time in the world.
But at the same time...
At one point I started...
Yeah, continue.
Sorry. At one point I started wondering, like, to put myself into composer's shoes. What would be the style and genre? Like, maybe it's not the correct question, because, you know, limiting oneself to a specific style and genre would be, you know, not you know, very correct. But what would be the vibe of the song, you know? And I just didn't have an answer. What song would I write for Calcit? And then there it was. It's not, you know, a pop song they turn on the radio. It's not some, you know, metal song, but it's a very, it's very calm, soothing song, but also feels very ancient, very rudimentary, I'd even say.
Almost like a folk song that somehow managed to get to these days and get modernized.
Yeah, like a very old but melodic tribal song, and it got, you know, a new arrangement, a new modern arrangement, something like that.
And that goes what I was gonna mention, that there's this not even regret, this history to the lyrics, to the song, this feeling that this has been going on for a very long time. This is a very ancient piece of music that we are just managing to understand it because someone took the time to adequate it to our current times. Again, fitting with Calcit being this ancient being that somehow keeps up with the evolving world.
It just, you know, I just keep wondering how many stories Calcit can tell us. Because so far we know about, like, at least 200 years ago, right? Like the actual events that were going on, but she's much older than that, so like a lot of things happened, you know. So that songs, the lyrics, the performance encapsulates that perfectly, in my opinion.
But there's also this sadness, no, regret. One mixture between sadness and regret, because clearly not all of her plans had worked, and in the song it feels like this feeling like I could have done better, but I cannot stop, so I have to keep going.
Of course.
And even the end, it just ends. There's no future, no hope, no anything. It's just the present. A lot of past, but no future. It just ends.
It abruptly ends, with everything, with the, you know, the main theme being repeated with vocals, and everything just ends. About regret and sorrow, there is also, like, it couldn't exist if, you know, a person would be you know, tied up with the events, the actions, the stuff they needed to do, right? Those emotions cannot exist with the people surrounding at that times. and I just listening to that song at the time, I came to a realization that I will never even I will never ever manage to grasp, to understand, to realize how much and many people she lost through those times. How many generations passed, how many people
How does
she
she even
lost,
conceives time at this point? Is the whole events of the game just another weekend for her?
yeah.
And it is displayed well in the song as well. Like, there's this. You understand that it's something ancient, something important, like a message, but at the same time, like, the message doesn't arrive right. You cannot just fully understand it. You can feel it, but not fully understand. Yeah.
Well, the perception of the world of like a millennium-old character is, of course, much more different for a person who barely lives until 100.
If we're lucky,
That's a
so
given.
yeah.
If
Yeah,
we're
well,
lucky, yeah.
Yeah, I will say that the old well earns the spot.
Yeah, despite all the jokes I occasionally make about her, like
You talk too much, I understand.
we are we are now like taking the character seriously through the prism of equally serious songs, so no jokes this time. Sorry.
Okay, let me
It
rephrase
was
it.
addressed to the audience. Yeah.
Okay, for once, let's be the mature people around. Calls it song gets the S spot.
Exactly.
Time to bow to the wind, baby. This one was very popular when it came out.
Also one of my favorites. I'm very biased about it.
Real Me,
For
Cornelius'
obvious
song.
reasons.
Yeah. And I'm pretty sure that that one Will's animation helped it a lot.
I am very biased about it.
Yep.
Yeah, real me. It's real her. all there is to say to it. She's, ferocious. She can be quite ferocious and aggressive in battle, but she's, that carrying older sister archetype.
Yeah, and that's also something that you can feel in the song. It starts like that, soft, melodic. You expect something like a waltz or something like that, and then suddenly the guitar and the drums kick in, showing you that there's more to her than just that first impression she gives.
Yeah, she's someone who would, go to great length in order to protect someone dear to her. And that's what the song is partially about as well.
Yeah, then again, it's very upfront. It's like, real me, there's nothing to pretend or to suggest. This is who I am, like it or take it or leave it.
Yeah, and from what I understood, she's a very, quite a rebellious person, let's say. She would rather do things her own way than to...
I think that Gabriel is more a rebellious kind of individual. She's more of a, okay, gonna hear your side, but if I don't like it, I'm gonna do things my way.
Well, Carnelian is the same.
Oh, more like, okay, I tried your way, now we're gonna do the right way. And that is my way.
Yeah.
So yeah, very simple to the point, but again, that's who Carnelian is. Very direct, a bit violent, but at the same time very caring. So yeah, nothing much to say. I would say it's a very fitting S.
Yeah.
And definitely not biased because it's a big sister. No. After all, Silent is not here today, so no biases this time.
Oh.
this is the last one for this batch.
Yeah,
And
the
it's-
last one for today.
And also the weirdest one.
I wouldn't say so. I wouldn't say it's the weirdest one.
Well, personally, I think it's the weirdest one. At least I trying to warp my head around it. This is Keep the Torch.
I immediately
Palestine.
like that one.
I mean, it's a great
Palestine.
song. I also like it, but I still confused as to what it's supposed to represent. In this case, I think I'm a complete loss, so I think you're gonna have to explain it this time around.
Okay. Let's try this one. Again, Lisa Kaplan here, the one who performed on Kalsit's team as well. I'm very fond of her voice and her, of her performance and her, made up lyrics based on Minoan accent of ancient Greek. So yeah, well, Minos is based on ancient Greece, with all the cult of gods and ancient heroes and stuff. At the time of release for, Pallas as a character, we had, what's it called, interlocking competition, right?
Yep.
So it was essentially, a competition, right?
Uh-huh.
So for events like these, again, comparing to like what we had with Kazimierz, with the nightly jousts, they had electronic music here. Perhaps Minos decided to go a similar path and to make a similar theme for interlocking competition.
Like a high-tech version of Gregorian chanting.
Yeah, like a Kazimierz inspired, but in their native language, stuff like that. So it's
Okay.
more like about Pallas being the organizer of interlocking competition. Her fondness on the cult of heroes that the interlocking competition was about to commemorate.
As I understood, or as much as I thought about it, I see that the choir is meant to represent the Minos, as the historious Minos, the ancient things, the palace, no, not the palace, the how did they call it? The religion, the cult of, no, how do they call it?
The cult of heroes or something like that.
Yeah, the cult of the 12 heroes, which is something that they relegate as creatures of myth, of legend.
Yeah.
But the techno part is where the myth meets the present when they both collide. That's how I understand that take on the half ancient, half techno.
Yeah. Well, they are, a modern country trying to survive against, Sargon invasions from time to time.
Yeah.
Pallas is, as they call it, a cornerstone of that defense. Even if she is infected and being outcasted, she still, fights for Minos.
She still loves her country. She still loves her traditions. That's why, again, if we consider that she is the one singing, that it's her devotion to her people.
Yeah, she's the one singing, that's for sure. Considering she was a priestess of that, cult of the 12 heroes, it's no wonder. Well, and of course the Mediterranean tonalities, influences in melodies here and there. That's obvious at this point. You mentioning that the choirs.
The choirs, yes, I get it, but are there other ones? Because other than the choir, I didn't identify any other.
Well, yeah, like the melodies sang and some synth melodies are distinctively Mediterranean.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay, then there's more to the song that I originally talked about.
Yeah, again, it's supposed to represent, Greece. Minos, Greece. So,
Like a modernized version of the ancient Greece. Okay, I can see
yeah,
it.
like, Olympic Games. I just remembered when I used to watch 2004 Olympics in Greece. Like, you used to watch after swimmers, especially. Like, I was very fond of swimmers. Yeah, at that time. So they didn't have as an anthem a very modernized theme. By the way, that they had for 2004 Greek Olympics, they had a very ethnic Mediterranean theme, as far as I remember.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so here this is kind of like a modern take on it, sort of.
Okay. Taken from that perspective, okay, I can see it. And I can see how much it fits Pallas. It still shows her devotion as a... what's her position? As a priestess. How...
It's more about her position rather than the whole character again.
Well, her whole life goes around her being a priestess, so in a way it makes sense.
Yeah.
And how, well, for example, that very verse that just went, I have no idea what she said, apologies for all Greeks out there, but it feels sad, not remorseful, just sad, which also fits with her character. She really loves her country and her tradition to the point that she feels sad being away from them, even when it was such a mistreatment of her achievement to just be exiled because of her infection. She's not angry, she's just sad that she cannot be there anymore. And yet she's making the most out of this opportunity, that being the interlocking competition, to enjoy her time as a Minoan, even if it's just momentarily, which can be felt in those explosions of energy during their versus the choirs. So I think that it does fit well with Pallas. Now that I have analyzed all that information you bring me, I think it is a very good interpretation of her character.
Yeah, but not a complete one though.
Not a complete one, but definitely above the just a moment in their life. I would say that it does fit in the A list, in the A tier. A tier.
Yeah, A tier, A or B. A. I would go for A too.
Well, congratulations to Pallas. Next round is on us.
Yep.
And with that, I think that we finished the first batch of this video, of this list rather. So,
yeah.
any words? How do you see this? How do you feel?
I feel like a bit of a musical nerd. Well,
I wonder that why this will be.
Because I was tending not to delve deep into, musical nerdy stuff.
That's okay. As a matter of fact, I was gonna tell you, go nuts, go as nerdy as you want. I'm the one who just likes music. You are the one who can go nerd out all you want.
Yeah, I guess apart from that, moment with the synthesizers, I went a bit more nerdy than usual. Well, after all, we were going for correspondence between the music itself and the vibe of the character, and here are the results. So, I guess if you agree or disagree, feel free to share in the comments.
Well, everybody has their own preference at the end of the day. That cannot be changed.
Of course.
But this is not so much about preference. This is how much we felt the character, each of the songs felt the characters. So tangentially, we are more right, slightly.
Well, you are as a psychologist and me as a musician.
So yeah, we are not
Yeah,
just pulling
perhaps.
this out of our arse. So, well, if you people like what you see, be sure to mention it in the commentaries down below. If this does well, I think we will continue with the rest of the songs. For now, well,
Yeah.
Andrew, I'm very grateful for you to passing by and what's the word? Sharing your knowledge with us. But again, if we continue with this, be sure to nerd out all you want with the music.
Yeah. Thank you for having me, Dr. Blob. It was a pleasure. It was a blast. Need to repeat it.
Well,
hopefully the people will like it, and we get to.
we will see. We will see.
Yeah.
For now, this has been Dr. Blob and Andrew
Lekhnovskyi.
Lekhnovskyi. Let me say that again. Let me try it. For now, this has been Dr. Blob and Andrew Lekhnovskyi. And until next time, want to do the honors, Andrew?
Stay healthy, everyone.
Bye.